and welcome back. You know, I'm here with my friend Todd at Bronze Petal in Denver, and I'm just curious to know, because we're obviously in the winter months, getting colder, what are the best plant care tips for somebody who has like tropical plants or standard plants?
Yeah, so tropical plants are one of those things that we want to be a little bit more cognitive of when we're approaching in those darker days. The best thing is to keep mindful about pushing your plants away from the window, making sure they're at least 12 inches away from your window. Especially if you have a drafty window, you want to consider moving a little bit further. Also cutting down on our watering, allowing them time to rest. Just as we need time to rest, our plants need time to rest. So it's important that we are observing this when our daylight hours start to shrink down. We know we need to start cutting our water down a little bit. Usually jumping it back to usually about an extra few days to a week does a lot. It puts them into that nice cozy place so they're ready to grow come spring.
You brought up a good point about having the plants a little bit further away from the windows with the drafts, because obviously that makes such a big difference. But also, if somebody has their plants leaf on the window and it's a cold day, what happens?
Yep, you will decimate that leaf. So there's no recovering from that, and it's usually just the aesthetic part. But in order to protect your leaves, make sure that they are further apart from the window than you would want to normally keep them during those warmer days. Another thing is making sure that your plant isn't sitting on any window ledges, making sure that they're farther apart from those ledges, sitting on a stand free from that. Cuddling them together is really good to add some extra humidity and warmth. Usually does them really good.
I want to know, because it's like we have so many beautiful plants that just are available to us in Colorado, not just here, but just across the state. But one of the interesting things is that, and depending on your state, this really varies, is the fact that many plants go into dormancy during the winter months. But here in Colorado, we have 300 days of sunshine, so our plants are kind of constantly growing. When it comes to fertilizing your plants during the winter, what should we know? Because usually the rule of thumb is, if let's say you're in upstate New York where I grew up, you probably wouldn't be fertilizing your plants during the winter, but here we have an exception.
Yes and no. Fertilizing, I don't usually fertilize. I have this kind of Labor Day to Memorial Day type thing, and you don't have to keep that. I usually start fertilizing again late February, early spring, and of course I always dilute my fertilizer. Even if you have a set schedule for them, you do want to draw that fertilizing back tremendously during the colder days. Our shorter daylight hours means our plants are going to be photosynthesizing as much. They are going to be resting during this time, and I know for me, I don't like to be fed at 2 a.m. when I'm sleeping. So it's nice to be able to have a rest period where there's nothing keeping me awake. It's settling them in, getting just good clean water is all you need during those rest months. You don't need to do anything else.
And I'm curious to know, what would you say are the top 3 hardiest winter plants to have here in Colorado if somebody were, let's say, looking for a plant, whether it's for a gift for somebody or just wanting to get started with plants? What are the top 3 hardiest to have during the winter here?
So the hardiest plants, and especially if you don't have the room to keep them pulled apart from the window, cacti and succulent do just fine on the window ledge. They can take the temperature drop considerably, so you don't really need to move them from the window. They'll do just fine. So cacti and succulents. Another one is philodendrons and monsteras do really well. Just keep in mind they won't want to be next to that window during those colder months. They want to be pulled apart and pushed back a little bit, and they can take that drop in that light. They actually expect it. I mean, they're really connected to our earth, and so when we add grow lights and stuff like that, we want to be cognitive of drawing those back as well, keeping them on no longer than 12 hours during our winter months.
Stay away from calathea.
Calatheas aren't it. Yeah, definitely a little bit more sensitive, especially when it comes to watering, fertilizing. It's not the plant that we're going to put in that category of most hardy during cold months.
Well, these were excellent tips. I appreciate it so much.
Oh, happy to do it.
Yeah, and if you've never been to the Bronze Petal before, highly suggest it. Awesome shop and so many great varieties. But as always, if you haven't, subscribe to my channel here, and then also check out Todd's shop here in Denver, because it's awesome. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video.